Hey, we're back with yet another Before You Buy, that show where we give you some straight-up gameplay and our first impressions of the latest games releasing. And today, we've been playing a lot of Need for Speed Heat. They're not giving up on the Need for Speed franchise, and I, for one, am actually pretty glad. We need arcade street racing games, and the series has definitely had its ups and downs, a bit more downs than ups in recent years, sadly. There was 2015's self-titled Need for Speed game, which had some issues with cringy FMV sequences, microtransactions, and being always online. Despite that, I really enjoyed the core racing. Then there was Need for Speed Payback, which dropped in 2017 and focused on story-based action driving that had some cool moments but was ultimately really forgettable. Now, in 2019, we have Need for Speed Heat, a game which has been dubbed by the developers as a spiritual successor to Need for Speed Underground. It's about freaking time, even though we've been here before, we've been down this road. Thankfully, I think Need for Speed Heat is mostly a step in the right direction for a series that has kind of been licking its wounds for a while. It's not the return to greatness that some people were really hoping for, but there's some fun to be had here. At the very least, it's a big step up from Payback, but it's still a simple offering, considerably modest and pared down, and also, it doesn't feel like EA really got their hands on it too much either. So, with the game, after an intro, you pick from a few pre-made character racers and venture into racing in the world of Palm City, which is pretty much a fictional Miami with maybe like a little dash of San Francisco. That might sound weird, but it gives the world a cool look. Unfortunately, though, this world is absolutely freaking lifeless. Open world racing games often have this problem. I mean, it doesn't really make sense to have a bunch of NPCs just kind of walking around, but Palm City feels exceptionally large, but also completely empty at the same time. There are barely any cars on the roads. There's no traffic. It looks cool, but it's just straight up dead and doesn't really do much to help keep things interesting. Thankfully, though, I do enjoy the racing. It's absolutely solid for the most part, and I think if you're a fan of arcade racers, you might like it too. Need for Speed fans haven't been too keen on this new style of steering and the feel of it. The drifting is obviously incredibly over the top and super fishtaily, but me personally, I find it fun. Guilty pleasure. I don't know. Maybe I play so many racing games now that I just don't really have any problems, any nitpicks, but I find the drift mechanic here incredibly fun and satisfying once you figure it out. And it's really fun finding that sweet spot between different cars and tuning sets you swap between. It's cartoonish, but it's fast, it's aggressive, and when you get that perfect slide turn combo into another turn, it's just incredibly satisfying. If arcade-style racing isn't your thing, I get it. But here, it really works, and I'm okay that they're leaning into it because, frankly, it kind of at least sets it apart from other racing games. I've also spoken personally with another racing game fan who doesn't mind the overly slippery gameplay, but still just hates the steering in general. So take that for what you will. It is adjustable on the fly with the D-pad, you can bring it up, but some people just really aren't jiving with it. But the game is divided by night and day. During the day, you're doing more regimented, structured races on courses in the city. They're on the street, but it's like, think of it like a Need for Speed Pro Street races. That type of stuff, kind of. These races are where you not only progress through a story, but also earn primarily cash, the main currency in the game. Now, at any time, you can switch to night mode, where the pause menu literally flips over and does this cool transition to night. This is where the game graphically looks way better, wet streets, all that, neon. The general HUD and course visual effects are also bright neon, and everything is just way more like, oh, holy shit, street racing, that type of thing. This is where the real meat can be found in the interesting stuff. Races here are often sprints and just intense lap-based stuff, but at any time on the map, more likely at night, roving bands of police cars can spot you and chase you. Yes, this can happen organically, mid-race, and it makes things chaotic. It's a random element that is completely out of your control for the most part. Cops are aggressive and relentless, and they'll try and ram you to stop you. Getting chased by cops definitely benefits you, though. Night mode is all about the balance of risk and reward. Complete more races and be a badass running from the cops at the same time, and your heat level will increase. And then at the end of the night, you go home, you cash in, and you level up, and you earn rep points, which is the game's other currency. This is essentially the level up currency you need to be able to buy cooler cars and parts to tune your car. So you need that to get to it, and then you need the cash to actually pay for it. But racing at night, getting that heat meter up is fun, and it pays off. Cops ramp up the more your basically wanted level goes up, with different units basically trying to kill you. But if you can finish a race and make it out and to your home base without getting arrested, you earn more rep because your heat level acts as a multiplier. And of course, if you get caught, you get this cool like arresting scene, and you lose out on a bunch of your earnings, like almost to the point where like it really hurts and it makes a difference. The stakes are pretty high. I think this makes for a really, really awesome new twist, and it can actually get a little addicting, seeing how far you can push it and make out with the goods at night. The game can also be surprisingly difficult at points, not only with cops mashing you, but the game has like a weird habit of having you blow away the competition, but having just the first place car in front of you, and that it is so damn good that they're just consistently out of reach. Maybe it's just me, I noticed it as like an odd pattern, but hey. There's also a story. Once again, I don't really feel like it needed one. I know the game is so simple, so it needs some life with this, but I just didn't really care about too much what was going on. Thankfully, though, at the very least, it's not super cringy, it's not over the top or corny or too knockoff Fast and Furious. It's pretty cut and dry, simple story to play through, and it's easy to follow. But like I said, I just didn't end up caring at all, and ultimately it still kind of got in my way. Thankfully, though, the car customization is sick. It's about like what you'd expect from previous games, at least in terms of how you can pan around the vehicle and click on parts to upgrade individually. I love it all. Fenders, wheels, stickers, decals, wraps, paint, headlight colors, even custom tweaking the sound of your exhaust. There's a lot of things to pick from, and the balancing of spending money on parts and engine options or even engine swaps while also making sure you have stuff unlocked with rep basically made for a good progression loop that made me want to keep playing. Now, it's good that that stuff is satisfying because there's not a ton of variety to races. It's not always the most enticing, but thankfully, like I said, making your car cooler is the draw here. Also, big fan of the way the game just looks and sounds from a presentation standpoint. Transitions and loading screens are creative as hell, but not like over the top and obnoxious. Starting race effects are simple, but very clean. I just appreciate this type of weird stuff, and I'd like to see it in more games. Little note, at the starting line, like during the race intro cutscenes, you can rev your engine, see your car rock a little bit, move your wheels, which is also just a small little detail of interaction that I really appreciate. Another thing, the game is simple. You drop in solo or you drop in always online, either way, so you can just drive around with your friends if you want or not. That's it. I also haven't seen any microtransactions at all, which is a nice plus, so as long as they don't add them after this, they went on record saying they won't, but yeah. In conclusion, I guess, other than a couple of different race types and speed traps and tags to collect and billboards to crash through, there's not too much going on here. It's a simple world, but it's really big. It's all just decent, the whole game. It's not amazing. I just want more variety. I want it more condensed because I like the core racing mechanics and upgrades and stuff. It just doesn't quite feel like a full-priced game, because it's just okay with the offering. I'd say maybe consider it when it goes on sale. Again, bottom line, I'm still just happy that the series is at least on the up again, and I hope they improve from this foundation going forward. But of course, that's a before you buy. You know how this goes down by now. I give you some pros, some cons, and some personal opinion, and now I want to hear yours down in the comments. What do you think of Need for Speed Heat, or NFS Heat? That's what they keep calling it. I don't know. What are you thinking? Have you made a cool car? Are you bummed that Toyota isn't in the game? Because I am, as a Toyota boy. What car are you using? Do you like the day-night dynamic? Let's talk about this stuff down in the comments. Now, if you enjoyed this video and maybe learned a thing or two, clicking the like button is the best way you can help us out. We'd really appreciate it. And if you're new, consider subscribing and hitting that notification button because we put out videos every single day. But, as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.